Because beneath the glittering facade of red carpets and curated Instagram grids, a storm was brewing. One that no amount of PR finesse or Kris Jenner orchestration could completely contain. Because when you take a boy raised on indie film sets and thrust him into the eye of the Kardashian hurricane, something has to break. And according to sources increasingly willing to talk, it already has, with murmurs emerging that Timothy has been emotionally exhausted by the unrelenting pressure, the calculated image maintenance, and the demands that come with being Kylie Jenner's partner, not in private, but in brand. Because make no mistake, dating a Kardashian, especially this Kardashian, means being absorbed into a machine that monetizes intimacy, turns kisses into campaigns, and packages love like limited edition lipstick drops. And even though Timmy initially agreed to keep things selectively public, insiders now say that the boundaries are becoming harder to maintain, especially with Kris pushing for a soft launch campaign called Kylie the Series, a web mini-doc concept chronicling the modern love story between the world's most followed woman and the actor once hailed as the next Daniel Day-Lewis. And while Kris pitched it as tastefully done, no crying in confessionals, just subtle glimpses of their dynamic over brunches, gallery visits, and stylized vacations, Timothy allegedly recoiled, realizing that what he once thought was a relationship might now be a business partnership, and that realization reportedly led to a blow-up fight between the two lovers, with Timmy storming out of her Hidden Hills estate after accusing Kylie of managing him like a campaign. A source overheard shouting through the walls that he missed being anonymous, a phrase that struck Kylie like a slap, because in her world, anonymity isn't just a foreign concept, it's a failure. And from that night on, something shifted. The vibe between them no longer quite as effortless, the smiles more rehearsed, the public sightings less frequent, and yet Kris pushed on, quietly holding meetings with luxury retailers, floating the idea of a Kylie fragrance, a limited collection inspired by the poetry of duality, light and shadow, art and commerce, indie and industry. But it all began to feel like one big contradiction, especially to Timothy's team, who worried their client was morphing from cinema's most promising actor into a luxury mannequin, and that fear became reality when he missed a critical table read for a passion project he'd been attached to for months, citing scheduling conflicts. Though insiders whispered the real reason was a surprise trip to Turks and Caicos with Kylie, a content-capturing getaway that Kris arranged in coordination with a global resort chain, part of a broader strategy to reframe their relationship as aspirational lifestyle, not just love but luxury love. And while the drone shots were stunning, the cost was beginning to show, especially in Timmy's posture, which fans began dissecting frame by frame, noting how his body language had shifted from relaxed to guarded, how his eyes often seemed to be scanning the room rather than settling on Kylie, and how even his fashion choices had begun to feel more curated, less chaotic, more Malibu minimalist than Soho slouch. And still, the show must go on. Because with rumors of an engagement party in Rome already solidifying into accepted law, despite no official confirmation, Kylie's team moved into high gear, planting anonymous sources in the tabloids to clarify the story, not by denying it, but by gently framing it. The ring was a gift, the party was a birthday dinner, and the relationship was evolving, a term so vague it could mean anything and nothing at once. But the damage, or transformation, was already done. Because whether or not a wedding was imminent, the couple's public narrative was now fused with the kind of scrutiny that could crack titanium, and that scrutiny only intensified when Kylie, perhaps sensing she was losing control of the narrative, made a rare, impulsive move. She posted a video to TikTok, unfiltered, just her, no makeup, lip-syncing to a romantic indie song with the ring visible, very visible, on her left hand, and within seconds the internet detonated, with fans screen recording, reposting, analyzing the lighting, the body language, the hidden meanings, and conspiracy theories exploded. From pregnancy rumors to secret elopements to theories that the whole relationship was a stunt to distract from a larger Kardashian rebrand. And while those theories may seem wild, one must remember who we're dealing with, a family for whom nothing is off limits if it feeds the machine. And speaking of family, It was around this time that Timothy's mother reportedly flew to LA, a quiet intervention of sorts, hoping to talk sense into her son, and though no photos exist of the visit, one source claimed that Timmy was visibly emotional afterward. She stood barefoot in the surf like a fever dream in white silk, the kind of haunting image that makes timelines collapse under the weight of speculation, her gaze cast out toward the ocean, and the flash of a diamond. No, the diamond. On that finger ignited a global wildfire of obsession, conspiracy, and emotional combustion as the internet choked on the possibility that Kylie Jenner, billionaire beauty mogul and reality TV heiress turned cultural enigma, might be not just in love, but officially engaged to the indie heartthrob of a generation, Timothée Chalamet, the brooding Oscar nominee whose very name conjures images of art house films and Parisian cigarettes. And yet, here they were. Two tectonic forces in the celebrity galaxy threatening to collide in a spectacle so dazzling and divisive it fractured timelines, friend groups, and possibly even Timothy's own family, because when Kylie posted those curated Instagram shots, bridal in tone, cryptic in caption, and devastating in visual poetry, eagle-eyed fans zoomed in, cropped, analyzed, and confirmed that yes, that was a Cartier Trinity ring glinting on that finger, a piece meant to symbolize life's most sacred relationships, and suddenly, the whispers turned into screams. The fan edits became engagement montages, and TikTok sleuths began tracing clues like digital detectives on Red Bull, citing blurry images that began circulating from what appeared to be a secret candlelit party, allegedly in Rome, allegedly exclusive. Allegedly everything fans of Kylie had dreamed of, and everything Timothy's indie purists feared. And it all crescendoed when the couple stepped out hand in hand at the 70th David Di Donatello Awards, looking so radiant and smitten that even seasoned paparazzi forgot to yell for a pose, stunned instead by the intimate way he looked at her like she was the only woman on earth, and the way she smiled back like she knew exactly what she was doing. Wearing a sculptural gold ear cuff shaped like a hand, complete with a diamond ring on its finger, as if to mock the audience to say, "Yes, we know you're watching." And in that moment, the performance was no longer a question of if it was real, but how long they'd been planning it. Because let's be clear, nothing about Kylie Jenner's public life is accidental, and Timothy, for all his soft-spoken indie aura, was now very much part of the spectacle, whether willingly or not. And insiders close to the couple began whispering about Rome being more than just a red carpet affair, more like a secret vow exchange hidden behind marble columns and candlelight, attended by only a few fiercely loyal insiders. While fans noticed that Kylie had recently worn a massive teardrop-shaped diamond on her pinky. A pinky, yes, but the message was loud. Diamonds this size don't arrive without intention, and as speculation grew, so did the tension behind the scenes, because not everyone was cheering for a Kylie wedding, least of all Timothy's inner circle, particularly his sister Pauline Chalamet, whose name suddenly began surfacing in blind items and Reddit threads, claiming she had serious reservations about Kylie's intentions, reportedly believing her to be more interested in maintaining relevance than nurturing love, accusing her of wielding romance like a branding tool and dragging her brother into a machine he'd long tried to avoid. And as the whispers grew louder, reports emerged that the once inseparable Chalamet siblings had begun to drift apart, their once daily calls reduced to occasional check-ins, and insiders claimed Pauline had confronted Timmy privately, saying she no longer recognized the man who once quoted Kierkegaard and debated climate justice, now seen smooching a reality star at Fashion Week, while fans of the actor began spiraling into open rebellion, creating side-by-side comparisons of old Timmy versus Kylie Timmy, citing his growing absences from indie cinema, his silence on issues